Hey, it's Megan, and I'm here because we are going to do a little sewing lesson on video for how to put a zipper in a pair of pants. This is one pant leg. They're kind of like a high-waisted pant that is going to have a side zipper like that. So as I mentioned, we've got the front leg of a pair of pants, we've got the back leg of a pair of pants, and we're going to put them together right sides facing each other. Now, these are obviously not the same size pieces of fabric, okay, because the back is going to be bigger because it has to cover your butt. We're going to line up this edge because this is the side where the zipper is going to go. So we're going to actually be pinning and sewing the entire pant leg in order to put the zipper in. It's a really easy way that I like to put my zippers in. So the very first thing you need to do is grab a pin cushion and start. I like to put my seams where the yoke is the top of the pair of pants, and then the pant leg. Where they come together, seam to seam, I like to first stick a pin there, and then I will sort of make the rest of the pants. Now I'm gonna pin in a way so that I can kind of sew over the tips. So you don't have to pin like this. I actually would probably normally pin maybe so that the ball of the pin is sticking out, but it's all up to you. I'm actually going to do it this way because sometimes when I do videos, I'm just going to sew over the pins. Don't tell anybody. You know, it's going to kind of seem like they're not lining up, but you need to make them line up, right? You need to kind of double check that the front and back edge is together, and then use the pins to make it stay together. Okay, so my entire edge is pinned. Now I just want to talk about the top part. The top part is where the zipper is going to go, and I'm going to have the zipper go down about 8 inches. So actually it'll be right to here. And when I do mine, I like to stick a second pin together to signify where, I'm going to just turn this one around, to signify where the zipper is going to end, because when I sew this, it's going to be basted from the top down to where the zipper ends, and then the rest of the way has to be sewn with a normal stitch length. So when I say a basting stitch, I mean a really big stitch. So it's not going to be very secure, but we don't need it to be secure because that's where the zipper is going to go. Okay, so I've got the pair of pants, and I just want to point out this is the side. Now, I went to go and kind of line things up on the sewing machine. If I were to start at the top, I'm going to have all this pant trying to fit through here. So I wanted to explain to you that I'm just going to flip it over and start at the bottom, which means I sew the bottom, the bottom, the bottom until I get to the double pair, the pair of pins here, and then it's basted from the double pins up. I just wanted to make sure you understood what I was doing because I want to be able to sew it without having like a ton of fabric trying to move through here. You always want to have your fabric to the left side of the sewing machine. It's just a lot easier. So I'm going to start it here. I'm going to lower the presser foot. Now, talking about the basting stitch. Right now, I am not basting. It's the stitch length is at 2.5, which is like the average stitch length. If you turn your sewing machine off and then you turn it back on, that is what it's going to default to. Mine defaults to the needle in the left-hand position, which is what I want, and 2.5 on the stitch length. Okay, so starting at the bottom, I do want to back stitch here. And then I'm keeping the edge of the foot along the edge of the pants with a tiny bit sticking out to give us almost about a 5/8 inch seam allowance. And I'm keeping the edge lined up the best that I can. I'm not taking pins out because I'm just kind of catching the ends of them. Most of them are not even touching. Now, we're getting closer. See, there's the double pins. So we want to make sure when we get to the double pins, we stop. And I want you to actually backstitch. Stop again, pull those pins out, just get them out of our way, and go up to the highest stitch length that your machine goes, minus 5.0. Now, it's gonna like fly through here. It's gonna go really fast, but we do that because that's where the zipper is gonna go. We go all the way up to the top, and we do not backstitch because we're only basting. So now I have my pant leg with the side sewn all the way. I actually just put a pin right here to show you where the basting ends and where the regular stitching begins. So we know that the zipper is only going to go down to where this pin is. Open up the seam that we just sewed, okay? So I've got the front and the back, and this is one pant leg, okay? So the seam that we just sewed, we're going to, if I were not doing a video, I'd drag it over to the sewing or the iron, and I would iron this open. But I'm just gonna finger press it open, and this fabric is pretty stiff anyway. So I'm just gonna use my fingers to open up the seam allowance all the way to the top. Okay, and it's not laying completely flat because again, this is the side, like where your hips are. So it's kind of rounded, but we're gonna do our best to kind of keep it flat. Then I'm gonna grab the zipper. I've got a nice long dress zipper. This is not an invisible zipper. We're just doing a regular old zipper. I buy all my zippers the same length. We can use them for dresses, we can use them for pants, we can use them for skirts, we can use them for bags. I mean, for specialty type things, sometimes I have to order them different sizes, but for the most part, they're this long. You notice that that's much longer than what we're gonna have in the pant legs. So I'm able to create my own zipper stop at the bottom. I'll be sewing here, and that's what will stop the zipper. And also, because it's longer, I can start with my zipper pull above the pant, so I don't have to worry about sewing around it, because that can be a pain because you can hit the zipper pull with your needle, and then you can break a needle. So I like to have nice long zippers. Now, you can see this is the right side of the zipper because this is the zipper pull. And then we want to put that face down onto the seam that we just sewed. So let me just stick this pin in. We are on the wrong side of the pants. This is the right side of the pants. So we want to put the zipper teeth straight down the middle of the seam that we just sewed. So I'm just kind of every so often checking to make sure that the teeth and the seam are lined up, and then I stick a pin. And then the last one is where the basting ends, right here. Okay, now we're gonna flip to the right side because this is actually the side that we're gonna sew the zipper on, because we're gonna top stitch it So you're gonna see it on the right side of the pair of pants. But all our pins are on the other side, so we're gonna repin the entire thing. Until we get down to the last one. Now, the reason I had you pin on the other side first was so that we made sure that the zipper was centered on that seam perfectly, and you could see it a lot better on this side. But then, because we're gonna sew over here, we pin it again, knowing that the zipper's in the right spot from our pinning over here, and then we just take out the pins that are on this side. So now it is time to sew the zipper to the pants. So we have the right side of the pants face up, the right side of the zipper is face up. The only thing I want to say is we do not want this to be basting anymore. So we have to bring that down to 2.5. And you'll notice I don't have a zipper foot. I don't know if you can tell. I still just have the regular foot on there, and that's because the zipper that I'm using is not an invisible zipper. It's not so skinny that it requires a zipper foot. As long as your machine will go, the needle will go in the left-hand position, you don't need to use your zipper foot. The foot is going to actually ride right up against the teeth as we go. And notice as I'm starting, I'm going to start and then I'm going to back stitch, and then I'm going to keep going. Maybe I'll take this one out. And the teeth are guiding me. The teeth are like sticking up and making the presser foot stay right alongside where it needs to be. And my hands are pressing the fabric flat as I go. Pressing it flat. Just check every so often to make sure that you feel the teeth right up against the zipper. I think I'm still good. Flattening the fabric as I go. Ooh, that was the last pin that I just took out. So I'm gonna keep my finger there and know that I have to stop. And then I'm going to leave the needle in the fabric. I'm going to lift my presser foot, and I just want to back it up a little bit and show you. I'm going to take the entire thing and just turn it 90 degrees. And yes, I'm going to sew right across the zipper, but it's only going to be for like 7 or 8 stitches. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'll do 4 more. Oh, that kind of took off on me. But we've got 4 more, and then the needle stays down. Presser foot comes up, we turn it again. And I'm lined up literally on the same, in the same spot on the other side of the zipper. So presser foot goes down, and I sew back up to the top. And back stitching at the end. Okay, now you can see I've got my zipper sewn into the side seam of the pair of pants. This is my back, this is my front, but I can't unzip it because I still have those basting stitches in there. So I'm going to take the seam ripper and I'm going to undo those basted stitches. I'm just going to cut a couple with the seam ripper, and then I sort of pull. So now the zipper is in the side seam of the pair of pants.